uh, hopes, dreams, intentions.
Right.
Be ready to have a great opening. All right, we're live on YouTube and welcome everybody. I'm here with our friend Sandy Levey-Lunden. And Sandy is an author and a teacher of A Course in Miracles and a coach, a life coach. And she's got some wonderful processes that she's been working with us on. And tonight she's going to be talking about the holy relationship process. And so I'm excited about having Sandy step up and speak with us. Sandy, the mic is all yours.
Okay. So I'm happy to be here teaching and sharing about one of my favorite subjects to talk about, which is called the holy relationship, which, as we all know, who have worked with A Course in Miracles as teachers and students, that it's an exciting process to be in a holy relationship. And we can have a holy relationship with anyone that we choose to have one with. Most people think of it as it would have to be a romantic or sexual relationship, but actually, it doesn't have to include romance or sex or anything like that. It can be two friends, a parent and a child, two people that love to work together. So I have two documents that will say at least half of what I'm going to say tonight that I've written down, so people won't have to take notes so much. And these two documents come from my manual that I use in the Holy Relationship course, which I've been teaching since 1990. And I've taught it in 2.5 day forms, of just 2.5 days long, to 10 days to 3 weeks. And it's a very exciting, dynamic course and process because in it, each person gets to reconfirm with another person who they truly are. As many of you remember, one of the most important things, if not the book says the only thing we need another person for, the Course in Miracles book, is to confirm who we truly are when we have forgotten. And we can forget all day long at different points in our day because we go in and out of our ego mind and believe a story or a fear or something that happened that can go happening to us. And we get fearful or guilty or worried. So at that point, we need another person to reconfirm that we are safe, we're connected to God, we're all powerful, we're all knowing, and that basically we're always in our true self. Therefore, nothing can actually happen to who we really are. So, that is one of the most important jobs of the holy relationship partner, to always reconfirm the difference between truth, what I call big T truth in my teaching, which is love, oneness, peace, joy, joining, and choice, true choice,
Mhm.
and little t truth. So we are constantly believing something in little t truth, like fear, worry, anxiety, being powerless, someone hurting us that we can't trust. Trust is a big issue. So we have to tell the difference between our illusion, little t, and big T. And it's so important for the holy relationship partner or anybody that we're in relationship with to confirm truth and support us to get back to our true self when we believe something in the ego, and at that point enter a state of fear, guilt, worry, or anxiety. So I'm very happy to share what I can share with you during this time. As I say, it will be very condensed because I can go on with this for many, many days and many, many hours. So first, I'd like to go through the room, and each person could introduce themselves and just say their name. Is there anything that they want to say about what they'd like to know about the holy relationship process, briefly? Okay, we could take a few people who would like to speak. Do I have any hands? And Lynn, can you call on them? What they'd like to know specifically, think about it. What would they like to know about the holy relationship process? Is there anything that they think in their mind? Okay, Sean?
I would like to know how to take this process to people that are not familiar at all with the Course in Miracles and the power workshops, anything. How to bring this to them in their heart.
Right. So, and one of the things that the Course in Miracles says is to teach is to demonstrate. What I share, how I live, and how I think, and how I share with some will always be a teaching, because we're teaching and learning with every person that we meet. So it's not a special activity, teaching and learning. It goes on all day long. So as you demonstrate the process by you knowing how to do it, by you living it, by you understanding the principles, they can also learn.
Good.
And we're sharing that all the time. How we are going to talk to them, how we're going to reconfirm what they say. Because what I said is that we're reconfirming truth at every moment and helping them let go of all fear and guilt and worry and anxiety by not believing any of that and agreeing with it. One of the most important points of the holy relationship is we don't collude or agree with anything from the ego that the other person wants to draw you in. Like, my mother really was a terrible person and she really hurt me at such big levels, therefore I'm irreparably damaged and can never recover. That's a thought in many people's minds that they don't voice, but they could believe that. And so it's the job of the holy relationship partner to confirm what is truth. Like, you can never be damaged because you are who you are. Ultimately, you will always be who you are, no matter what happened to you in the past. You're an infinite, eternal, all-knowing being. So that's part of the reconfirmation. Okay, does that answer it? It's how you live that the person will learn.
I like that.
Not what you say so much, but what you demonstrate. To teach is to demonstrate. Okay, is there another person who'd like to ask another question? Anyone? Do we have any hands there you can see, Lynn? Okay, I can't see them so well in the gallery. Maybe we can
No hands up. So
no hands up. Okay, so we'll start with the premise. How do I define a holy relationship, and what are the actual conditions to have one? So first, it's a teaching learning situation. Number one. So any relationship can be a teaching learning situation, and that both people have looked within and know they have no lack. That might mean they think, feel, or believe they have a lack or something missing, but at some place deep inside, they know they're whole and complete and perfect. So that's condition number one. That they have a higher purpose, and this other person has a higher purpose, and together they join in a higher purpose, basically a purpose that they can both share, like to join together to know God's love and demonstrate God's love. That's the purpose of one of my actual clients. Or to release anything that comes up from my ego mind that I believe and that has affected my life in a scary or negative way, and let it go. So it could be any purpose. You know, in my holy relationship booklet, I give an example of 50 purposes that people have told me in the holy relationship training. So it's like two people who have each an individual purpose, and they join together in a joint purpose. So the important points of a holy relationship is that we both have together joined into one joint purpose, and that we agree to it, especially if we can agree to it and write it down consciously, because that has the effect of 100 times more than if I had that purpose alone, that we're joined, that we're in oneness. So that's another point of the holy relationship. The third one is that we agree to be each other's student and teacher, that we both want to learn and teach each other, that it's a circle. What I teach, I learn. What you teach, I learn. We're both learning from each other. There's no hierarchy in this relationship. So we're each equal, and we're each both teachers and learners. And that we're willing to turn our relationship over to the Holy Spirit, the higher guide, to guide us in the way that we both want to go in truth to healing. That I mean in truth, meaning that it might not be a very pleasant ride sometimes. It could be very uncomfortable. It can be very worrisome, and it can be very anxious, because the things that we have to go into, that we're going to be guided into together, could be very upsetting, but that we're willing to go through them together. So that's another condition. And that we understand that we're in basically we're one, we're in oneness together, and that we agree to actually go on this journey no matter what happens. That I'm agreeing to clear my ego together with this person and go through anything that comes up between us and look at it as part of the process. So I'll ask now and see if you see any hands there, Lynn, if anyone has any questions about what I've said so far.
No, no hands up.
Okay. So how many people, remember, it doesn't have to be a relationship that is a romantic sexual relationship. It can be two friends where they totally want to work together. That's another important point, that they totally want to work together on a purpose, and that they love working together and they feel enhanced by working together. In other words, they see that the joining of these two people, or you and I, or these other two people, has enhanced their life, and they are excited about working together on a purpose. Okay? All right. How many people have a holy relationship? Would consider that, described by the way I have described it, they have such a teaching learning situation. Okay. How many hands do we see? Can you count them, Lynn?
Yeah, Rafi has his hand up. I would have my hand up because I do have a holy relationship with every person in this group.
Right. Exactly.
And we are like a holy life together. So
Right. You are mighty companions in the holy relationship.
yes,
And
absolutely.
who else has their hand up?
Um, well, just Rafi
Okay. Right.
And Brooklyn.
and
And
Brooklyn
Brooklyn.
and Deb
Yeah. Brooklyn. Hi, Brooklyn.
and Bob.
And Bob has his hand up. So when we think about what I've said and you really look at it, I think all of you would know you have a holy relationship with someone. And as Lynn points out, maybe with each other, which would mean that you're willing to be completely transparent, hide nothing. That's also an important component, and be willing to be open and vulnerable and look deeply within at your own issues in the presence of the other person or persons. Okay, so this is all it's the probably the most exciting adventure a person can have in their life, is to have another person that's willing to go all the way with them into their total ego mind and clear everything that isn't truth. That's what I work with when I teach the actual holy relationship. How to work with another person in that way, which would include the knowledge of the clearing process and the big T and the little t, and the watcher that I talk about in other sessions that I did here on ACIM Gather. So it would include a whole journey into awakening together. So I would say it's probably the most exciting journey or adventure that a person could have. Okay, I'll ask if anybody has a question. Any questions so far?
I don't see any hands up. Just in case, you may look at the bottom of your Zoom screen there. There should be a thing you could click that says raise hand.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to raise your hand, you can click on that thing and your hand will go up like mine just did.
Okay, and we can see how many people are on the call. Okay, how many people who are on the call, who are presently on this call, have been on any call with me before? Can you raise your hand to that so I see how many? Because it matters in terms of what I say here. Have they been on another call with me before?
Well,
Okay, one. No, but there are others, aren't there?
Yeah, there's at least 5. There are many of us here.
Okay, Brooklyn, Rafi. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it says 6.
6. Okay. Nick, can you name the names for me? Brooklyn, Rafi.
Yes. Okay. Robert, Mickey, Deb, Karen, Brooklyn. I'm sure Lily, that's you.
All right.
And that's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then the reason I asked that, because the ones that have not been on the call won't understand us at the same level when I talk about this clearing process that is in the materials here. And this is all contained in my book that I wrote and published in 2022 after 10 years of working on it, called I Just Want Peace by Sandy Levey-Lunden. So all of the things I talk about, the holy relationship chapters, the clearing process, are contained in depth in that book. Okay. So we're going to talk about the document here that I sent you called 10 Keys to Creating a Holy Relationship Partner Process. Can we put that up now, Lynn?
Yeah, hang on here.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited that I've written a lot of this down so people don't have to take notes because it comes out pretty quickly.
All right. There we go.
If you want,
There we go.
I should mute.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to ask each person to read one and I'm going to make comments about it. Okay. Can we start with, let's start with Brooklyn. Can you read number 1? Can you see it, Brooklyn?
She's
No?
muted. I think she's muted.
Oh, she's muted?
I'm sorry, I got it. Namaste,
Okay.
mighty companions.
Okay. All
Each-
right. Yeah, Brooklyn, can you read point number 1?
Each
So
person.
this is the dynamics to creating one, meaning if we wanted to have one person instead of many to do it with. And it's a very intensive process when we have one or even two people who are doing it together. Because in that, everything that's happening in our ego mind that we need to clear is going to come up in relationship to this person or with this person. That's why this is such a dynamic process, that I'm willing to work through all my issues with this person, even if I don't want to, that I'm willing to do it. So I'll meet points in my ego where I'll say, I don't want to go any further. But my commitment to the purpose that we have will push me through it and keep me going to actually to want to work through what I have to work through. Okay, can you read point number 1?
Of course. Each person has looked within themselves and knows that there is no lack within them. They might think, feel, or believe there is a lack or something missing. Yet somewhere deep inside of them, they know the big T truth that they are whole and complete. You release the need to try to get something from someone, trying to find someone who is a trophy, has fame or money, is good looking, etc. So that others think you are good enough because you have a partner who is good enough.
Right. So we're talking here about two concepts called the special relationship and the holy relationship. In the special relationship, we have to have people confirm in a certain way that they are loved or respected or valued. In the holy relationship, we take that to start with as a tenet of the holy relationship, that I know I love, value, and respect this person for who they really are. And I know that they love, value, and respect me for who I really am. And they don't have to prove it to me by doing certain things or saying certain things. It's inherent in the agreement to be in this relationship. So I can say to myself, I have looked within and know I have no lack. And I can say that I know I've looked within this person and see they have no lack. And I see them as their divine or God self. And they see me as my divine or God self. And somehow we've been attracted to each other to see that in each other to start with. And we can see that it's a safe place where we can be reborn with our true selves. That's a really important part. That I, with this person, I feel very safe. I feel very trusted. I feel very seen. I feel very loved. And we're starting out in that place. We already have that. So in choosing this person, whether I choose them and agree to it consciously or unconsciously, I see it and know it. And I even feel it, but I know it at my higher level. That's very important. Anybody have a question? If they have a question, they can just speak up. That would be easier for me. So if anybody have a question they want to ask on point number 1. So I'll ask you to raise your hands to this. Okay. How many people know what I'm talking about when they say they've seen a person or they see many people in which they see at first and know at first and can actually recognize that this person is a God being, just like they recognize that themselves is a God being? How many people would say that? Okay. How many people is that? Who could tell me? Who counted? Can you see it?
It says there's 6, and that would be 7, including me.
Good, because that's a very important point. Now, if I look at somebody and I immediately see, if I look at somebody and I meet somebody and I immediately get into the idea that there's something wrong with them, that, oh, they maybe weren't loved enough by their father, or their mother didn't reconfirm them, or they didn't have enough touching. And if I think that I can enter into this relationship and give them what they never had before, that's the first thing that I see in them. And I keep thinking, well, that would be wonderful because maybe they can give me what my dad never gave me. And together we can make up the need or the difference that we never had. That is what we call the special relationship. I'm in this relationship to get something, to fix something, to feel that I need this person for this reason. And whenever we're involved with that and we think like that, we're also in a prison with this person because we don't feel free. We're seeing ourselves as less than, and we're seeing them as less than. So in essence, they're always going to want to break out or leave the person to get free because they've been seen as less than, or I'll always want to leave because I've been seen as less than. And we have played that out with many people in many ways. It can be many, many ways that this looks like. Okay, good. How about Rafi? Can you read point 2?
You have a stated purpose. Your partner has a stated purpose, and together you have a joint purpose. In a holy relationship, you commit to your shared purpose, not to your partner's physical body. Each one should find their own purpose first, and only after that come together and see if their purpose is the same. If both find that they want the same purpose, that then becomes their joint purpose. It is important not to try to convince your partner to have the same purpose as you, but to simply look and see if that is the case.
Right, and that you could get excited by this statement. In other words, when we form this joint purpose, it could be, and it should be really, if there was a should, something that would inspire us both to feel excited about doing this journey together with this purpose. And I've taught this process to many people. One of the people in Gotland, Sweden, where I've gone many times because I used to live in Sweden, they took the Holy Relationship training in New Hampshire. And they put their Holy Relationship training right on the wall on a tree. They cut a piece of a bark and they carved it so that everybody who walks into it can actually see it. And they get to look at it every day and reconfirm it because it's important to see what you're going through this process for. We're going for this purpose. It's kind of like a wake up to keep us inspired and going for it. Okay. All right. Remember, if anybody has a question, I'll assume they're going to raise their hand and ask it because they can ask any question they want, and their question will be good for everybody to examine and think about it. So I'll assume we all take responsibility for our question and for productive, proactive thinking, and we'll raise our hand so that if there is any point that needs reclarifying, we're going to reclarify it by someone's question. Okay. Shall we go to number 3, Mickey?
Sure. Okay, I'll turn my camera on. You wholeheartedly want to work together on your purpose because you love working together and are excited by your synergy. Two beings joined in one purpose have the energetic effect of 100 times a person working alone.
Right. And that's why this is also an exciting process, the Holy Relationship process. I would say one of my favorite lessons in A Course in Miracles is the one that talks about the joining in holy relationship, a specific joining called we're joining together for the peace of God. And that's called Lesson 185, I want the peace of God. And without even looking in the book, I would say like this, it starts out something like this: two beings with one intent become so powerful that their wills together, joint wills together, become the will of God. Because beings can only join in true purpose, which is true. No two can share the same ego purpose exactly. So we can only join in what I call a big T purpose: love, oneness, peace, joining, choice, godliness, true knowledge, trust, big T purposes. So that's the exciting part. We can't join in someone's little T purpose because we can't really share it. That's also made very clear in the Course in Miracles. I have a whole section on that also, which I don't have as a handout, but we have to have a higher purpose to join it. Okay, we're on the next one. Do you want to read the number 4, Sean?
Number 4, I'll give it a try. You both agree to each other's student and teacher.
To be
Both,
each other. If I didn't write it right, I should say to be each other's student and teacher.
oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you. Both learning from teaching one another. There is no competition. And if you experience it, you can release it by using the clearing process. It is communication tool received by Sandy in 1990 for releasing your limiting beliefs, traumas, fears, guilt, and coming to 100% forgiveness.
Right. So the clearing process that I teach in the clearing process training, or it's in my book on page 110 to 126, describing how to do this clearing process and what does it mean and how to use it and what is it for, including the big T and the little t and the advanced clearing. If you get into a disagreement, or one person goes into an upset and they understand how to hold the space for each other, because ultimately the holy relationship partners are holding the space of truth for each other. That's what it means to confirm one person's truth and another one to confirm another person's truth in the partnership. I am literally holding the space of truth. So whenever you tell me something as my partner, I kind of wake up to listen to it from a point of view of truth, big T, and little t illusion. That I want to be sure that I'm awake enough and present enough to actually listen. I need some more water. Some water, honey? There's some maybe over there. I need enough to listen because it's kind of like a job. I want to be aware that this job is always on purpose and I'm always in it. I can never be asleep in this relationship. Okay. I'll assume no one has a question. So if I think that I'm competing with this person, that I want to be better than them or smarter than them or know something more than them, and that I feel like I want to prove that I am, now I'm moving into more a special relationship, trying to actually be in hierarchy. So I have to be aware when I'm triggered or in my ego or moving into this dynamic. And then I could ask for a clearing by saying, would you, my holy relationship partner, want to be holding the space for me while I clear my ego right now? I see that I'm in my ego and I'm competing with you. Okay, that's how you use the process. Or I see
Karen
that
has her
I'm in,
hand up.
okay, one second. I see that I'm in my ego and I'm comparing myself to you, or I see that I'm in my ego and I'm judging you. So therefore, we could do this clearing where I release myself and wake up. Okay, Irene. Did you say that Irene has her hand up?
Karen.
Karen.
Oh my God, this is fantastic stuff. I love it. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, this is all coming together for me throughout the whole entire course. This is what he's talking about. This is it. This is everything. There's a section in the Gift of Freedom that I always loved, and now I recognize that he's actually talking about a holy relationship. In the Gift of Freedom, chapter 8, section 4, paragraph 6, he says, God's sons are equal in will, all being the will of their Father. This is the only lesson I came to teach. So he only came to teach, here that we are to bring every special relationship to a holy relationship, to remember the truth of what we are, that we are equal. Only equals are at peace. And this book, it says it throughout the entire course, but I never really put it together in every section that it really meant the holy relationship. But that's everything. That's what you're saying here, basically. Am I right?
Yes,
It's
yes, I
amazing.
have to
Thank
say
you.
it's the most exciting dynamic process that we can be involved with another, and it's a truly a wake up call. It's like and this thing about are you willing to hold the space for me? That's a very important part because when I recognize that I'm in my ego, I told you that the one thing we need another person for is to confirm who we truly are. So, in holding this space for me as I truly am, while I go through my ego thoughts, my ego projections, my ego fears, and forgive myself for everything that I've interpreted and made up, this person is confirming at every moment what is truth. Like, thank you, that is the truth. Or thank you, um, it's not the truth. It's a story that you made up, and you can let go of that story right now because you are perfect, whole, and complete. Or thank you. Please forgive me for forgetting that I am a part of God and perfect, whole, and complete. So this clearing has a very distinct structure, and it was given to me by the Holy Spirit in 1990 when I lived in Sweden and I was going through a crisis in my relationship where I thought my Swedish husband had fallen in love with someone who was 25 years younger. And I prayed to God for 31 days and one night for a process that would end all pain, suffering, and relationship. And I received this clearing process and about maybe 10 other processes that downloaded in my work and came to me in an internal voice, which we then wrote down everything that it said, kind of like the way the Course in Miracles was written. At that time, I hadn't really studied the Course in Miracles and knew it at that point because I received the power clearing process independent of my study of A Course in Miracles. These were two separate things. But you're right. This is the most exciting journey you can take. I agree with you. Thank you for speaking up. Okay. Would you like to read number 5? Karen.
Sure. I'm on my phone, so it might take me a little longer, but I can do
Doesn't matter. We have infinite time.
it. If one partner feels threatened by guilt, anger, confusion, attack, etc., and you do a clearing, but it still doesn't go away, hold hands and ask the Holy Spirit, God, Source, Universe, to remove this feeling because you don't want it anymore. Ask for the feeling to be replaced with a big T truth. We
Like
don't,
love, peace, joy. Good.
beautiful. We don't want this fear anymore. We are asking you to take this fear away and replace it with feelings of joy.
Right. So everybody remembers in the reading of A Course in Miracles that the Holy Spirit will support us, but we first have to ask, be willing, and be willing to surrender any of our egoic ideas to Him. And when we join together, we understand in this holy relationship that it says also in the book, many places, that the Holy Spirit lives in the holy relationship. That's His home. So anytime one person is threatened or another, they can hold hands and ask the Holy Spirit to help them release this and that feeling or fear or situation and bring it to peace, love, or joy as the connected force between them. And the Holy Spirit will always respond. Even if we don't see it, we don't feel it, we don't hear it, he is responding. And it's just a question of our awareness to where is the response and where does it come from? Is it a song? Is it a film? Is it a color? He is always responding to the actual request. And I have done that many, many times and I see the response. But you have to be aware and awake to see the response. Okay, very good. Okay, we're open to number 6. Who would like to read who I don't see their name of it and don't know their name? Can they do it? Call on yourself. It's always important. Okay, we'll go back to Mickey. Mickey, can you read number 6?
Okay. If you can take responsibility for your own pain, which you carried in your bag of the past before you even met your partner, without blaming your partner for giving you this pain, you are on the home stretch to releasing it. what is in your baggage of the past exactly that you are bringing into this relationship. And I have a question about 5.
Mhm.
So let's say, like Lynn was saying, we are as a group pretty much holy relationship partners for each other, but we meet only on Zoom. So we can't sit there and hold each other's hands physically. Um,
I would say like this, you can still do it as long as you reach out and you
mhm.
make the movement of going in that direction. It's the same thing because we're spirit, not bodies.
Right. Yeah.
It'll work just the same.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to put that out there for anybody else who was thinking, oh, well, I have to do this with somebody who's sitting in the same room with me.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, thank you for asking that. No,
Great.
absolutely not. I will also say this one about the bag of the past. So when we're choosing partners who we want to work together with in this manner, one thing that's really important is that they be aware what's in your bag of the past that you haven't cleared or released, or what you're still working with in your lessons, and that you're willing to present it to
Mhm.
them in a transparent, open, vulnerable way. And usually we do one at a time in the holy relationship course. Like, I still have times when I fear my mother will hurt me. So that would be in one of the pieces of paper. Or I still have times when I feel anger towards my father and project it on my partners. That would be another piece. So it's a complete going over of my whole bag that I am working with in my healing. Or I still hold myself as guilty for taking that donut when I was 5 years old, and notice that I'm always worried that I'm going to take that donut again in some way or in some form. You understand? So I've taken a full review of what I have left in my bag of the past to clear, and then I'm willing to present it openly and transparently with this person that I've chosen. And it won't be everyone that I'd be willing to be naked with, I can assure you. So it's a question of feeling that this person knows who I am and I know who they are, that we love working together, that we're willing to be each other's teacher and student, and that we see the enhancement between us of us working together, and that we're willing to go the distance in this to fully clear anything. It's like a commitment. My job is to hold the space for this person no matter what, and their job is to hold the space for me no matter what. And together we have this amazing teaching, learning situation dynamic wise. So it's a very important part that all of those parts be aware of and spoken about. And I'm willing to show you what I have in my bag that I'm clearing, so that when it comes up between us or in my life with someone I'm telling you about, you could say to me, maybe this is about your brother that you're talking about now, projecting it on this person, so that I can give suggestions, that I'm willing to hear these suggestions in a loving, open way from this person. Okay, so that's an important part also. Okay? And it's quite revealing to do this part about the bag of the past. I love watching the exercise. I've watched hundreds of people do this exercise in my trainings and sat there with them while they went through it and looked at the meaning of these bag, what I call the pieces that are in the bag of the past, or the incidents, or the traumas, or the feelings, or the beliefs, because that also goes in it. Like, I believe sometimes I'm not worthy, or I believe sometimes I'm not good enough, or I believe sometimes I'm better than everybody else. Because whenever you believe something that's negative like that, you also might be the opposite, which means I'm best at everything or I'm better than everybody else. So all of this is transparently communicated. Okay. All right. You want to read number 7, Brooklyn?
My
Yep.
pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Say it again.
I said my pleasure.
Okay. I want to say one more thing. This sentence here comes from the book by Barbara Perry called Relationship as a Path to Enlightenment. And this was a book, a pamphlet that he wrote many, many, many years ago before he was in relationship with Emily Bennington, which is who his partner is today in holy relationship. He was in holy relationship when he wrote this with Alan Watts, who was his partner, who's now deceased. So it comes from this very special book. And I read this book about 100 times. And I always include it in any training that I do, this sentence. Okay, go ahead, Mickey.
Oh, Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn, yes.
Okay. Your partner will only live up to or down to the image that you have created for them. If you see them as limited and as their true selves, they will be just that. If you see them as ego and unable to progress, they will be just that. You are holding the space for your partner to release anything that is not themselves by seeing them as their divine self, no matter what ego picture or ego thoughts they communicate to you. You will be tested to remember and live this. If you fall into your ego by believing their ego, you can use the clearing process. Choose also to release yourself and come back to your true self.
Right. So you're holding the space of who they are, no matter what story they tell you of how guilty they are, or what they did, or what they said, or how they should be punished, that you will always see them in their true self, no matter what. That is the job here. And the part that was so interesting when I read it in this book originally is your partner will go in the direction that you actually holding them in. So they will live up to or down to the image that you actually hold of them. And we know that in relationship to bringing up children, that it's so important to have a high esteem and value of our child, that our child is going in the direction of the way we see them. And if we take them as a lower esteem and we don't value them and we don't support their true self and we believe in their ego story of whatever it is, they will go in that direction. And all of us who've ever had children know how important it is to see our children as limitless and totally loving and totally perfect, whole, and complete. That's the same thing as our holy relationship partner or anyone. Whenever I think someone is less than, I'm in my ego mind and I'm ready for my clearing process. So if I judge them in any way, I am ready to clear about them. So I'm very aware of all my ego thoughts towards anybody in that way. Okay, we're good. Okay, we'll take Rafi again. Will you read another one?
Oh, sure.
We're on number
8.
8.
Whenever you are angry, ask yourself, what do I feel guilty for? If your partner is angry, ask them in a loving and accepting way, what do you feel guilty for? Without attacking or judging them.
Right, because the Course in Miracles says anger is a projection of guilt. So whenever I'm angry, I am feeling guilt, even if I'm not aware that I'm feeling guilt, because that's what I'm feeling, guilty for something that I think I've done, which is making me angry, maybe even projecting it on you. So that's why it's so important. It's not only that I ask my partner the question, but it's how I ask them. I have to ask them in a very loving, open way that they don't get that I'm blaming them. Because if they think that I'm judging them or blaming them, they're not going to be willing to look. They're just only going to be in defense of my judging them or blaming them. So if I think I'm judging them or blaming them, I have something to clear. And I would ask them, could you hold the space for me as my clearing partner in helping me release my judgment that I'm feeling right now or my blame? So it's a very honest, open process in which I'm really willing to be completely vulnerable and transparent with my holy relationship partner, or anyone that I want to do this process with can be a holy relationship partner. And it would be wonderful if both of them could read the material in my book on this, both on the holy relationship, how to live it, the living experience of a holy relationship, my book called I Just Want Peace, or also the clearing process, because knowing how to clear would be an essential part of being in relationship. And if the clearing partner has certain responses they make, which help the person open and be reconfirming who they truly are, it's a specific format, and when you follow the format, the person will wake up. Today, I was working with somebody this morning before this call, and it was somebody I've worked with several times. And in 1 hour, we went through so many different important parts of what he needed to clear. I mean, it was literally eye-opening and spellbinding, because when we have that kind of honesty and transparency with each other, then we can really go deep into clearing and letting go of what I have held my whole life against myself. Ultimately, we are only clearing ourselves here. And so the partner is present with me while I clear myself. And I am present with them while I clear myself and wake up together. So really, it is also the important technology, the holy relationship of the holy instant, where we have these awakened, timeless moments together, which I'm sure we've all experienced who are on this call, these holy instants, both with ourselves and with another. Most holy instants I've ever experienced, and I've experienced it many times, is in relationship with my holy relationship partner. Okay, we're on
Brooklyn has her hand up.
with Clay.
Yeah, it seems like a catch-22. It says when we're angry, we're guilty. But I know I feel guilty when I'm angry.
Both. It can go both ways. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. It can go both ways. That's an important thing to point out. I can also be angry, and I can also feel guilty that I'm angry. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Right, because I know that's not who I am. So
Mm.
when I'm not being who I am, I could definitely feel guilty. That's absolute. 100%.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you read what I put out, what I sent to Lynn today, one of my great thrills in doing this work and teaching it and living it and having be part of so many courses that were 18 different courses that I teach in this, and experiences with people all over the world that I took it, um, is to see these people wake up together and to know that in the actual training, many people met their holy relationship partnership right in the holy relationship training and in other trainings, where they even came to me and said to me, I don't want to live in the same room, which is part of the training, as this person in the same bed, because I'm not attracted to them. And I would say, good. I'm so happy to hear you're not attracted to them, because it's not a sexual process. It's an emotional and clearing of all kinds of emotional, traumatic beliefs. It's an awakening, and it's not necessarily a sexual process. So if you were attracted to them sexually, you could get stuck there. So I think the process is going to go better for you if you actually are not attracted to them and don't go in that direction. And this particular couple, where they both told me they're not attracted to this person, they can't be in the same bed, they can't be in the holy relationship partnership, and they can't be in the same room, ended up to marry at the end of the training in 3 weeks in Bornholm, Denmark. They married on the beach there. And that was extremely exciting. But they started out, they didn't even want to be partners because they had to think had to be attracted. Any questions about that? So when you go through the whole process, you actually could become attracted to a person that you're not attracted to at all. You could end up at that level where you're really now attracted to this person. You love them. You totally embody them and see who they really are. Okay, we're up to I think we're on 9. Is that correct?
Yes, I'll read number 9.
Okay, great. Who is this?
This is Lynn.
Great, Lynn.
Oh, and Rico has his hand up. Yes, Rico.
Mine is a quick question. Well, actually, not a question, a comment. I thought that comment you just made about falling
Sexuality?
emotional and spiritual intimacy with a person that you're not attracted to, that seems so real, because you gave yourself a chance to get to know exactly who and what this person that you have this developing this relationship is. There's no guesswork, and that just seems so beautiful.
Yes, I was so excited by that, but when they told me both the same thing, I'm not attracted to them. I can't sleep in the same bed with them. I can't be in the relationship with them, and I can't live in the same room because I'm not attracted to them. And they each thought that I meant where they're going to have sex with the person. I said, that's absolutely ridiculous. I would never say such a thing or even think such a thing, This is an emotional spiritual process. And they got to the place where they saw each other, as you're saying there, exactly what you're saying, Rico. They loved each other for who they were, and then were turned on to that idea, the essence of the person, not their physicality.
Which is really what we all are. And if you actually came to know each individual person in the entire universe, you would fall in love with them, and it would be unmistakable. You would have every kind of attraction there is, because we are totally attracted to each other, because we love each other. We're one being. So the only thing that's keeping us apart is this belief that there are some kind of parameters that say this is what love is. There's no such thing.
More
Love
or
is
attractiveness.
everything.
Or attractiveness.
Yeah, we're all attractive. We're all freaking gorgeous, beautiful, sparkling, amazing creatures. And once you couldn't just pick one. It would be ridiculous. You could pick some to just hang out with because it's fun to be with them, and it's convenient, but you don't have to pick just one.
Right.
You can have as many relationships with as many people as you want. And of course, sex is a tiny little bit of any relationship. Once you get to a certain age, you realize, hey, that isn't even fun anymore. So, so,
Right.
so let's just get happy being together and loving each other. Um,
And
so
seeing each other for who we really are.
for who we really are. Yeah, which is not a body.
Right.
So,
So, yes, one time I will tell you this, and it was kind of like this person in a Course in Miracles group that I've been going for, say, many, many years. We had like maybe 20 to 25 committed people. And when I read this material and I presented it even more in depth to the group in a small training, and then one person said, well, could you be in holy relationship with anyone? I said, yes, I could. And if I couldn't, then I would have something to clear, just like you're saying there. So if I couldn't be in holy relationship with someone, then I have something to clear, because potentially, as Lynn pointed out, I could be with anyone because of who we really are. And then they said to me, well, I dare you, could you sleep in the bed with so-and-so? I said, I could sleep in the bed with so-and-so or so-and-so. It doesn't matter. It won't matter, because I can do this process and be honest and clear whatever I need to clear with myself or anyone, because ultimately the whole process is about me. It's not about another. So we're all owning our own individual responsibility to take responsibility for clearing all of this at a deep level. That's exactly the point. But that was the funniest. What you point to is one of the funniest stories, that I can sleep with anyone. Right. So it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
anybody, because we're all the same.
Yeah.
Rafi has his hand up, and so does Karen.
Okay. Rafi.
Yes. If I see something in somebody else that I don't like, it's in me, and I know that I have to. They're a mirror reflecting my consciousness, so I have to look inside and see what needs clearing. Fortunately, I have the release technique and the Sedona method, which are tremendous tools to be able to do that. And if there is somebody who comes to me with a situation, then I can show them how to go through the process of getting in touch with it, welcoming it, and letting it go. So the way I keep seeing it is that everybody here is serving everybody else, and everybody what they're serving is helping me go toward my spiritual awakening. So everything I look at, well, comes down to one word: perfect. Thank you.
Right. And I want to say that exact way we're talking right now, Rafi, is what I use in the Art of Surrender course and the surrender process. So if I look out into the room and we have a whole training, say, of 20, 25 people, doesn't matter how many, 5, 6, 7, doesn't matter how many are in the room. If I see something that I don't like, or that turns me off, or makes me not want to be friends with this person or open to this person, now I got an item here. So I could say the sentence, this is how I use the sentence in this course. What I see in you, and I have to say what I didn't like about what I don't like about my mother, is that she was always telling stories that ended up in circles that took me on a path that I felt confused. So I would say what I see in you that I did like about my mother is that she was always taking me on a path of a lot of circles and a lot of stories that I felt confused and didn't know where I was by the time we finished the story. And it didn't help me to get clear. It helped me to actually be more confused. So if I can see the actual thing I don't like about them and think to myself exactly what it is, who does it remind me of, then I can use that sentence to release myself. That it's not about that person. It's either about me or someone in my family that I'm projecting on this person. And I call that the projection process. Very important. Okay, Karen. Did you want to ask a question, Karen?
Yeah, thanks. So, you said, I think I'm paraphrasing it, but I think you said that the relationship is always with yourself. It's never the other person, right?
Well, I'm here to clear myself. And this person we're in relationship together as oneness, as
As
pure
one.
joining. But ultimately, I'm clearing myself, and they are clearing themselves of whatever is there in their ego mind, in the presence and the witness of each other, kind of like we're holding each other's hands, walking home to a new journey of awakening. But it isn't
Yeah.
our relationship.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And the reason I say that is because I remember Ken Wapnick, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he basically said that the holy relationship is our relationship with the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
It is not with a person, with form, it is content. So my relationship with the holy relationship, he said, is a reflection of Christ's relationship with God. So it is seeing, like he said this once, and it's kind of, I feel like it's a little contradictory to what you're saying, but correct me if I'm wrong. He basically said that, if someone tells you they're in a holy relationship, he said, run. He said, because you can't be in a holy relationship with a person. You're in a holy relationship with everyone or no one. It's your relationship with the Holy Spirit. So I hope I'm making myself clear with that.
Yeah, I'll say it a little differently. This person represents your relationship with the Holy Spirit. That's what they stand for. So you're actually in relationship with this person at the higher self, standing for the relationship you have with the Holy Spirit. You're right. And if I can do this relationship with them full out and fully clear myself and fully let go of all my projections, all my blame, all my guilt, I can do it with anyone. So ultimately, the relationship actually reflects my relationship with everyone. If I can do this full out with one person, and I've done it. So it's something that I've done several times in my life. Not many, but a couple of times what I would call finitely, all the way on every issue, on every thought, on every feeling. That takes a lot of time. So, so in the essence, when I worked with these people straight through, and that was many, many years ago, I don't have all those ego thoughts anymore, or I don't have all those ego judgments and blame that I had many, many years ago. So now at 80, I have much less of them. But this person that I'm in relationship with right now represents exactly what you said, the relationship with the Holy Spirit and me. And they stand for every brother in the world. If I can do it full out with one person, I can do it with anyone. Because it does
exactly.
take a commitment, a true commitment to go full out.
So it's kind of like for me, with forgiveness, like we start out forgiving specifics, forgiving, specific people, and then we learn to generalize. We learn that forgiveness is all inclusive. You forgive them entirely or not at all. That's similar to the holy relationship.
Exactly. I can either forgive them entirely or not at all. And we are tested. I've had two big tests that I've had in my life were that my bookkeeper and personal assistant embezzled all the money that I had, maybe down to $5. And we're talking about a considerable amount of money that I had in my inheritance, my whole life savings, my pension, everything, in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I immediately forgave her. And I worked with it for more than a year and a half to 2 years to actually get it to read completely out of my emotional system. And And that was a huge learning since I loved her so much and she was like a daughter to me. And recently, my personal assistant, Morgan Hawthorne, who assisted me for the last 4 years, who was helped me write the book, I Just Want Peace, and was a tremendous part of my business called On Purpose. She was murdered by her boyfriend on August 12th and died on the night, well, she didn't die till the night of the 13th, early in the morning. But it was a huge amount to forgive him and let this anger and rage go towards him, at the same time wanting him to be responsible for the whole process, but to ultimately forgive him and forgive my anger, forgive my fear, forgive my upset. I mean, it's another process very similar that I went to. I'd say those are two of the hardest process that I've ever had. And I'm still working through that one. Okay, so we're on the last one. Would you like to read the last one? I forget what's your name who just spoke about.
Myrna has her hand up also.
Oh, Myrna, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that a holy relationship just needs one person of the two people. In other words, in order to make a relationship holy, it only requires one person to be the holy person in order to, in other words, the other person is just not buying into it. How do you adhere to making it a holy relationship?
We got to go back to the idea truly that the person, I'm really in the relationship with the Holy Spirit. And this person represents the Holy Spirit in the essence. I'm working through all my issues with them. So, I mean, the real exciting process, I've heard many people tell me this, Myrna, that they're in a relationship with someone who doesn't know anything about what we're talking about. They have no idea, and they're not into what we might call holiness or being a part of God or the Holy Spirit, and they're working that through. And I've seen many people write about that and be involved with that. One of the people who does a lot of writing on that I read all the time is Dakini Wild. She has a relationship like that, and she's a holy relationship student. Have you ever read anything by her? Myrna?
No.
Myrna, have you ever seen anything of her writing, Dakini Wild?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, if you want to know about that, she has written extensively about that. And everyone that I've ever done this process with understood this process. So these were students of people that I met in my training, or people I taught the training with, or people that I trained as coaches. So all of them had this knowledge. But I do relate to some people who don't in the same way, holding the essence of all these principles. All of these principles that we just described. And it's the same process. I still am following the same process. So I've done it, and I still do it in my household with even the people that I live with here, because I have a household that I have, not just, I don't just live here in this big house by myself. So I'm constantly practicing these ideas with them, of holding the space of truth, of seeing them as truth, of not believing in their illusion, of not believing in judgment. You understand? It's constant. It's happening every wakeful moment when we're walking out there in the world or when we're meeting people. Does that answer it?
Well, yes. So you're saying never react badly.
Well, I know. I want to say something. Thank you for saying that. Never react. I'm so glad you brought that up. It's not saying that I'm never going to react. I'm going to be aware that I reacted. I'm going to be aware that I'm triggered. I'm going to be aware that I'm anxious or worried or fearful. And that's what I'm going to clear. Because we're not saying that the holy relationship person never reacts. Of course they're going to react. They're going through the process themselves. They're feeling things. They're believing things. They're going through their whole issues, even sometimes of their childhood. So it's not about saying that I'm not going to react. I'm not going to lie that I'm not reacting. I'm going to admit that I'm reacting. I'm going to admit that I have something to clear. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Right. I'm never going to be what I call acting as if I am a healed person that I experience. And I'm not just saying this. I have to walk the game I talk. So it's got to be, I've got to clear myself in all situations where I am unclear, or when I'm believing in judgment or blaming someone. So it's not that we're saying everybody in holy relationship is not going to react. They're going to react if they react, and now they have something to clear. So if a person says to me, Sandy, can you hold the space for me while I clear? And I know if I think I'm not clear and that I can't hold the space right now because I need to clear myself first, I'm going to tell them that. No, it would be appropriate for me to hold the space for you right now because I also have something to clear right now and I need to clear myself before I can hold the space for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have to clear my own anger before I can hold the space for you. I think
Right now, exactly.
yeah,
So it's
right
a
now,
fully
right.
truthful process with authentic communication and transparency. It's not about the unhealed healer who's pretending to be clear. That is not this process. This is about we take full responsibility equally for clearing what we need to clear as both teacher and student. Okay, would you like to read the last one?
Karen has her hand up.
Okay, Karen. Well, all these questions are so fantastic. Go ahead.
Oh my God, this is so great. Thank you, Myrna. Thank you, everyone. So what I just heard you say, which was amazing, which is I agree with. It's just like the course says, it's not that we don't get angry. We take responsibility. That's why anger is never justified. I can't blame it on you for my anger. And
Right.
it is a process, just like what you just went through with your friend that, she got murdered. It's a process. I'm going through a process right now with some physical stuff I'm going through, and it's a lot of shit, and so it's right now my organs are being affected and my organs aren't working properly. So my body's not functioning properly
Right.
on top of all this other stuff. So it's a process. Like I'm still going through some anger and it's okay because I am taking responsibility for it. I was blaming a little bit in the beginning, but that was my anger projected out, but I noticed it. I saw it. So it's a process. And I just think that is so important to recognize that it's a process. It's not an instantaneous thing. And then we notice it, we recognize it, and we heal. I'm healing. I am healing right now, going through this process. So I think the process that you're mentioning, and even last night we had a teacher come on, her name was Myron, and she shared that she had a resentment against Trump for 3 years,
Right.
and now she's cleared, but she had that resentment for 3 years. It's a process. And I think that is the most important thing for me to remember is that this is a process. Thanks.
Right. And I also want to say to you that I call this talk the holy relationship process. That's what I call the talk. Like if you read what's the title of the talk, that is the title, the holy relationship process. It's not the destination, it's the process that I'm talking about. The destination is ultimately forgiveness and awakening, but it's the process that I'm committing to get to the true forgiveness and awakening to who I really am. Good. Would you like to read the last one?
Me?
Yeah.
Want me to read it? Okay. 10. The purpose of the holy relationship is healing, which is the release of the negative past in terms of trauma, negative beliefs, and history.
Right. Right. And if you read the last sentence, could you read that?
If you had a special relationship before and you have stated your purpose, you may go through a rocky transition period upon creating a holy relationship.
Right. So if you take a special relationship and you transform it using these principles into a holy relationship, it will be uncomfortable. It won't be the same as it was before. You'll have a lot of different things come up where you'll say, oh, I liked this relationship better before because you were giving me special teacups with cookies and you made me special dinners and you rubbed my feet. And this was something you did every night because it was part of our bargain or agreement. And now I'm not getting that. I'm only doing that. You're only doing that with me if you want to be. So I feel like I'm getting less. So we'll get triggered in so many different ways if we take anybody's special relationship and we transform it into a holy relationship and follow these points or what I call these tenets of the principles of it. Okay. So I want to ask you, Lynn, shall I go on to the next page or is my time complete for right now where I will talk about the special relationship and the holy relationship on this chart briefly? Would that be okay?
I think, well, we're over our time.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe we need to reschedule you to
Okay,
come
that
in.
will be fine. I
Yeah.
can go on with this and I have as I said, I have 48 other pages that go with this whole process. So we can come back and do it and continue on with this another time.
All right, and I'm going to send this out to the people in this group so that they have that as well. I'll just send out all the stuff you have, the big T, little T, and the clearing process, and so if people will have it so that next time we meet up, they'll be much clearer. I just want to thank you so much, Sandy, and honestly, such a wonderful process, and you've been so helpful to us. And I'm just so grateful that you are willing to join us and to help us out in this way. And this is on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you click that like button and if you click that subscribe, you'll be notified next time. So please do that so we can have you all join us the next time. Thank you,
All right.
Sandy.
And thank you all for being on the call and asking these great questions and being so transparent and being willing to look and think about this. If you have any questions you want to ask me, you can call me in PST time, which is 3 hours earlier, at my cell number, or text me at 360-739-4602, 360-739-4602, and my website, www.sandylevey, SANDYLEVEY, or and if you send me a message at my email on purpose at sandylevey.com and I don't answer, it means I never got it. I answer every phone call, I answer every email. So I'm here to communicate. If you have something you want to say, if you want to learn the clearing or do the clearing, let me know. If you want to be in any of the courses or have your own course, because I can put on a course for a certain amount of people who want to do it. And it can be done on Zoom just like we're doing it. And we can have breakout groups. So I'll say goodnight to everybody. And I know it's later over there. And my evening is just beginning. And thank you again for your full awareness, participation, and willingness to look inside. Good night.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you all.
Namaste.
Thanks,
Bye,
Jen.
Lynn.
Namaste.